So if you remember, these are the deities which are given in the introduction to the D10 chart and how to read it in the first video in the playlist. You can look it up. But just to recap, the deities are the archetypes of energies which a person will have, which they bring to the profession in the D10 chart. Now, mind you, these deities or these archetypes are only meant for D10 chart, not so much for D1 chart. Okay, forget the natal chart for the time being. Only the Shamsha, the 10th divisional chart. 0 to 3 degrees leadership, 3 to 6 degrees strong work ethic, determined people, 6 to 9 degrees Yama, discipline, strong sense of responsibility, 9 to 12 competitive spirit, 12 to 16 excellent communication skills. Other things are mentioned. I'm quickly recapping. 15 to 18 degrees, they are very dynamic and flexible, quickest to adapt. 18 to 21 degrees is more of financial wealth, astute sensitivity, right? Accountants kind of. 21 to 24 degrees is ability to find purpose and meaning in life. This can once again apply to all kinds of professions, mind you. Just because you're in the medical field doesn't mean you're stuck in hospitals or clinics all the time. You might be able to bring a higher meaning, like Dr. Hegde in India, right? He's bringing a higher meaning to medical science. 24 to 27 degrees is intellectual capability and innovative thinking. 27 to 30 degrees is stability and long lasting success. So, mind you, all of these 3 degrees and 10 divisions in the D10 chart, in the career chart, are very important to consider. So, any planet or point in those particular degrees will have a propensity, will have a drive in that particular direction. That's all it means. It will have that quality. Okay. This is very crucial to understand. So, you should understand this when you're determining the qualities of the planet in a D10 chart. Now, let's see Pushya Nakshatra, what it brings to the table. So Purvashada Nakshatra falls squarely within Sagittarius, but comes after Uttarashada, right? What does that mean? It means Sagittarius, which is ruled by the Lord Jupiter, has got two factors or two aspects to it. Jupiter, the highest form of Jupiter, which is the ninth house, which is Sagittarius, has got two nakshatras guarding it, Moola and graduating to Purvashada, meaning what? Research and analytical capabilities, the intellectual capabilities graduating forward and moving into Purvashada, which wants to now use that to accomplish something in the world. Because we are moving away from just intellectual analysis onto practical implications in the real world. Okay, so we are moving towards Capricorn, you might say. We are moving towards the 10th house. It falls squarely within Sagittarius, but it is the graduation of Sagittarius. You got to understand whatever comes one nakshatra after another, it's always graduating to something higher. And finally, it all ends in Revati. It begins again in Ashwini, but never mind. Talents and abilities of Purvashada. Purvashada means one who is the first invincible one, also called as that, means the first one who initiates the drive to victory, accomplishing victory. It's the fighter. But the intellectual fight is what we are talking about. The application of what is learned in Moola has to be implemented in Purvashada. There you go. Best words I can find. Leadership and management being the first. They may excel in managerial and leadership positions. They may thrive as executives, team leaders, project managers, or in positions that require strategic planning and decision making. Strategic comes more to mind intuitively for me. So, strategic thinking, Purvashada, why is needed strategy? In Moola, the person already discovered what has to be learned. The soul has already discovered the truths, how to handle some things in life that has been already, it's a conquered territory. Now you're moving forward to implement it. So strategy requires an innate wisdom of Jupiter. The innate wisdom factor of Jupiter comes in Purvashada. Next, creative arts and entertainment. They may excel in creative fields. They may thrive as actors, musicians, dancers, filmmakers, designers, or in roles that involve artistic expression and entertaining others. This is basically the Venus part of Purvashada. Purvashada is ruled by Venus and Jupiter. So think Jupiter and Venus combinations which will shine in Purvashada. Social and humanitarian causes, they may thrive as activists, non-profit organizations, leaders in non-profit organizations, social workers, environmentalists, or in roles that involve working towards social justice and welfare. You see how this is moving towards Capricorn, moving towards the other. Capricorn is about others. 9 moving into 10th house. That is Purva Ashada going into Uttarashada. Think this way. And of course, the planets and points we will consider when we do ascendants. Right, my throat. Next one, sales and marketing. They may excel in sales and marketing careers. They may thrive as sales representatives, marketing managers, business development executives. This comes into more as a strong point there. Or in roles that involve building relationships and promoting products or services. So, business development executive, what does a person do essentially? What are they doing? They're creating a market where there was none before, right? This requires that innate research, innate capability, which is accomplished in Moola already. Okay. Education and training. They may excel in education and training fields, Jupiter. They may thrive as teachers, professors, trainers, lecturers, mentors, or in roles that involve imparting knowledge and empowering others through education. We are talking mainstream education here. Jupiter at its best in the 9th house. Purvashada, once again. Entrepreneurship and business. This is the Purvashada going into Uttarashada. They may excel in business ventures. They may thrive as business owners, consultants, startup founders, or in roles that involve strategic planning, innovation, and taking calculated risks. Again, the word calculated risk comes to mind. They'll be good at that because now it has the innate wisdom. The nakshatra itself has the innate wisdom of that. So let's get into the ascendants without any further ado, and we'll see the planets also. So within the Aries ascendant, Purvashada obviously falls in the traditional 9th house, right? Of gurus, of knowledge, of higher education, of banking institutions, okay, teaching professions. What are the possibilities of the career? Well, let's look at the ascendant nakshatras. Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika are possibilities for the Aries ascendant in D10. We're talking only D10 here. You can apply the same principles pretty much to D1 also because usually D1 and D10 both have to be consulted for a proper career guidance, okay? But we are discussing D10 for the purposes of this video. Ashwini, Bharani, and Kritika. Ashwini is a leader, initiator. So, initiating what can be entrepreneurship and business, they are the initiators. Leadership and management, they are the initiators as well. So, they may be, you look for positions of Jupiter, Venus. Combination of Jupiter and Venus power is in Purvashada. Okay? Jupiter, Venus, and Sun when you come to leadership. Why the Sun? Because Sun is the determinator of fame. You want to have a position of fame. Anybody who wants leadership, basically, what are they trying to drive at? They want to lead an organization, an institution, whatever it is. Sun has to shine in the chart strongly. Sun has to be either in Ashwini or in Leo, wherever, fire sign, Sagittarius, it has to shine. Sun shines in a fire sign. So look for those planets. That will be one. Then other one is we said entrepreneurship and business. For that, you got to look for planets of Rahu, Mercury, Sun again, and Venus. The power of Sun and Venus together. Shining. Popularity, fame. Bharani will be good at social and humanitarian causes. Why? Bharani is very dharmic. It is ruled by Yama. It is all about doing the right thing. Bharani is very focused on that. So they may thrive as activists, non-profit organization leaders, social workers. Bharani, very good at all this, right? Because it is in the 9th house, a house for others. Remember, 9th house, 10th house, 11th, and 12th are the determining very strong factors in a detail for career. Because these are the houses ruled by Jupiter and Saturn. Okay? One or the other. Bharani might be social and humanitarian causes strongly. Kritika might be again in education and training or in leadership and management. Kritika loves to do manage the affairs. Okay? That's for the Aries ascendant. For the Taurus ascendant, now Purvashada falls in the eighth house of uncovering deeper hidden secrets. We just moved away from Moola, but eighth house has that characteristic. What in that would require something like that? Creative arts and entertainment, you would think, because arts requires something for you to bring in from a sort of invisible dimension of within yourself. Arts and entertainment, yes. Definitely not social and humanitarian causes. Sales and marketing, not so much. Education and training, kind of. So what would be? Let's see the ascendants. Kritika, Rohini, and Mrigshirsha. Mrigshirsha would be loved doing teaching. Okay, there is education and training there. Education and training with regard to some subjects like forensics. That can work. Forensics is hidden. Think of sciences which are hidden. Investigative forensic researchers, that kind of teaching of those subjects. There are professors in university who teach that, right? Rohini, on the other hand, will be more of sales and marketing. Rohini is not much interested in teaching. It's more of money making. So it's getting more of sales and marketing. Uncovering sales and marketing, the promotional people behind the sales and marketing front line. Just came to my mind. Popped. Kritika will be leadership and management. Leaders in the department of probably law enforcement, probably banking. Not so much banking, more towards law enforcement, I would think, because it's eighth house matters. I'm linking the eighth house matters with the nakshatra itself. Okay. For Gemini, the thinking person, Purvashada falls in the house of business partnerships, all about others. Let's go to the ascendant once again. In a Gemini ascendant within the D10, we have three nakshatras possible. We have Mrikshirsha, Ardra, and Punarvasu. Punarvasu will be business like entrepreneurship and business. So watch for Rahu, Mercury, Sun, and Venus positioning there. That will do very well. And ascendant in Punarvasu. For Mrikshirsha, Mrikshirsha is a softer nakshatra. It can be about education and training. Venus, Jupiter, Moon, Rahu. Position or aspects on Purvashada there in D10. Yes, they can go into education and training. Because Mrikshirsha is a thinker, constantly searching for newer and newer stuff. They're intellectual people. Ardra loves to dig deep. Ardra loves to have leadership and management. Yes, it can be about sales and marketing, kind of. Arts and entertainment more comes to mind. So look for Venus, Mercury, Rahu, and Rahu does very well with Ardra. So Rahu and Moon when it comes to creative arts and entertainment. Ardra is not so much of an outgoing nakshatra by itself, but it can provide deep insights into whatever profession is going on. Okay. For the Cancer ascendant, now the Purvashada is in the sixth house. Debts, fights, legal court cases, litigation, debts. So financial management, no, these guys don't have much of financial management. Leadership and management, yes, that's possible. Let's see the ascendants for some help. Punarvasu, Pusha, and Ashlesha, because this is Cancer. Ashlesha will have more to do with medicine, more to do with education and training. Okay, because there is a Jupiterian aspect. So if there is Mercury, sorry, Venus, Jupiter, Moon, and Rahu in the sixth house in Purvashada and ascendant in Ashlesha, they might be good in education and training because Ashlesha also knows the depth. Punarvasu, business person, right? You take any entrepreneurship or business or leadership and management, pick your lot. Check for those planets, Jupiter, Venus, and Sun for leadership. Entrepreneurship and business, check Rahu, Mercury, Sun, and Venus. Okay. Pushya is a teacher by default, so education and training. Look for Venus, Jupiter, Moon, and Rahu for a good career assessment. Now, for the Leo ascendant, Purvashada comes in the house of creative intelligence, the fifth house. right? So creative intelligence can become a number of these professions. Actually, creative intelligence, if you ask me, is involved in all of these professions, right? So we have to go back to the ascendant, Magha Nakshatra, leadership. So if planets like Jupiter, Venus, and Sun are placed in Purvashada, in the fifth house, in the written chart for you, okay, and your ascendant is in Magha Nakshatra, you're very strongly driven towards leadership. You will bring that to the opposite house, the masses, 11th house. Purva Falguni and Uttar Falguni are more creative nakshatras. So there will be arts and entertainment. Look for the positioning of Venus, Mercury, Rahu, and Moon for any kind of creative arts. They will shine in the fifth house in Purvashada very strongly. Uttara Falguni is more of maintaining relationships, social relationships. So I would think more along the lines of social and humanitarian causes, activists, social workers, environmentalists, that kind of a thing. If ascendant is in Uttara Falguni and the planets like Mars, Saturn, Moon, and Venus or aspects of one of those planets in Purvashada, there's a strong chance you might end up in or be driven towards social or humanitarian causes. For the Virgo ascendant, it falls in the fourth house, family, heart, land, real estate, that kind of matters. So careers relating to those, teaching even. I would say even teaching falls in the fourth house. Leadership and management, not so much. First, let's see the ascendants. Uttara Falguni, Hasta, and Chitra. Hasta has to do with hands, so it will be more of creative arts and entertainments. Look for Mercury, Venus, Rahu, and Moon, and aspects of sitting in Purvashada. That will be very strongly creative. Creation is also a matter of heart. Okay. In Hasta. In Uttar Falguni, once again, you go towards education and training and more of social and humanitarian causes, very heart centered. You got to have some heart if you don't feel compassion for the people who are not so privileged as watching this video and trying to learn Vedic astrology, right? Chitra Nakshatra, creative arts and entertainments. Look for Mercury, Venus, Rahu, and Moon in Purvasara in the fourth house because it falls in the fourth house and ascendant in Chitra Nakshatra. For the Libran ascendant, Purvashara falls in the third house. Competition, skills, skill development, your peers, your colleagues, that area of life. Let's see the ascendants in Libra. What happens? Chitra Nakshatra, once again, creative arts and fields is more prominent. Okay. Swati is very individualistic, so it might be leadership and management. Look for Jupiter, Venus, and Sun in the third house will make them highly driven towards leadership, conquering every kind of enemy there is, because Sun even looks at the ninth house there from the third house. And in Vishakha, again, it might be about entrepreneurship and business. Vishakha loves to do business. Okay. So look for positions of Rahu, Mercury, Sun, and Venus in the third house with the ascendant in Vishakha. Okay. For the Scorpio ascendant, now we have come to the second house of values. What your values? Second house of earned wealth, second house of speech. The number of positions there. Let's look at the ascendant in Scorpio, Vishakha, Anuradha, and Jyeshtha. Vishakha, once again, might be more into something that requires speaking more. Sales and marketing comes to mind. Marketing career, sales representatives requires a lot of speaking. Sales people yam around non-stop, right? Marketing managers, business development executives, more of sales representatives kind of. Anuradha is more concerned about other social and humanitarian causes comes to mind. That is very Anuradha-like. They may thrive as activists, non-profit leaders, social workers, environmentalists, value system. This has everything to do with values, social and humanitarian causes. Second house is for values. Jyeshtha, on the other hand, might be more into entrepreneurship and business, right? Because Jyeshtha loves to manage stuff. So consultants, startup founders, business owners, and for a Sagittarius ascendant, Purvashada comes right in the ascendant. So all these talents and abilities, mark my words, talents and abilities, not necessarily careers, whatever talent is involved in these professions will play out in your life. 80% of it, at least, guaranteed. Okay. Whatever is driving the ascendant nakshatra rules in any chart, any divisional chart, any damn divisional chart you take, you get D1, D9, D10, D3, anything. Okay. Ascendant is always the ruler. So look for the ascendant and then look for those planets and placements in other nakshatra and look up my other videos if there is a sort of a vector which is driving that particular profession. Okay. For the Capricorn ascendant, now Purvashada is gone in the 12th house, 12th house of working behind the scenes, isolated places, working behind the hidden stuff, something similar to 8th house. Okay. So let's see the ascendant for Capricorn. It's Uttarashada, Sharana, and Dhanishta. So, okay, Uttarashada, once again, it will be more of social and humanitarian causes because we'll see that next how strongly Uttarashada is driven towards that. It begins in Purvashada, leads in Uttarashada. So they might become social workers, social leaders. It becomes a Saturnian energy. Saturn is all about others. That's why Capricorn and Aquarius are very externally driven, 10th and 11th house. In Shravana, it may become about teaching. Shravana is very guru-like, so it might become education and training, professors, teachers, mentors, lecturers, mainstream universities, colleges, schools. In Dhanishta, it might be more of creative arts and entertainment. Dhanishta is highly creative. Right? The symbol itself is musical instruments, drums. May excel in creative fields as actors, musicians, and dancers, for which you got to see Venus, Mercury, Rahu, and Moon placements. Well, the Aquarius ascendant, it falls in the 11th house of social media, social networks, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and there's an endless plethora of social media platforms, right? Pick your favorite. So, communities, basically working for communities, gains from the external world. Let's look at the ascendant. Dhanishta will be again creative arts and entertainments, especially if there is sun also there. They might become famous actors, musicians, and creatives. Very strong there. Dhanishta. Shatapisha is very abstract. Shatapisha wants to do mainly, you can become very good educators and trainers, teachers, professors, trainers, mentors, lecturers, right? Teaching for a large group of people, again, 11th house. Purva Bhadrapada is more like leadership and management. They might excel in leadership and management, and also they might be going into social and humanitarian causes. Depends upon other things as well in the chart. Last, for the beautiful Pisceans, Purvashada in the 10th house, dominant driving path for Piscean if Purvashada, because it comes in the 10th house, house of career, and we are looking at D10. Okay? Keep this in mind for all of them. So let's look at the ascendant. Uttara Bhadrapada and Purva Bhadrapada, both in the ascendant, and planets and points in Purva Ashada in 10, will make for a very like a social revolutionary, social and humanitarian causes. They may thrive as activists, non-profit leaders, social workers, that kind of a thing. Right? That's one of the dominant possibilities. For Revati, it might be more of entrepreneurship and business, like Elon Musk. They may thrive as business owners, consultants, startup founders, and such professions. Okay, so to wrap it up, Purvashada wants to begin the journey of victory. Next, let us be addressing Uttarashada, one who wants to maintain victory. Okay, take care, be safe.